My name is Abby, and I've been living nomadically for almost 4 years. First, I lived in a van, and now this vintage RV is my full-time tiny home. My life is always an adventure, and I'm bringing you along. Are you planning to stay married?
Gracias, mi amor.
De nada. Okay.
Salud.
Salud. So this week, we decided to do something a little bit different. I thought it was time for a little chat with you guys and to bring Sarah in on that and share some more of our story and answer some of your questions. So grab your coffee, your tea, whatever, and let's get to know each other a little better.
It's a deal. I'm excited. You ready for the first question?
Yes.
Okay, so I can't remember who submitted this, but it was when, where, and how did you two meet? You want to kick it off?
That's a good one. So, back in January of this year, if you've been watching the channel for a long time or since then, you would know that Natalie and I hosted an event for LGBTQ plus nomads in Arizona, out in the desert. It was amazing. We had like 150 people come, and Sarah was one of them. So we met there, and it was just casual. I was meeting a lot of people. I was the host of the event. There's a therapist for queer and polyamorous people, so I thought that was really cool when I met her, and we were just friends at that point. And then later on, at the end of January, Natalie actually approached me about opening up our relationship, and I was open to it. And of course, I wanted to do all the research, and also, if we're gonna do this, I want to make sure it's we're doing this right, because I just want it to go well and smooth and whatever. And Natalie actually suggested, what if we talk to Sarah? She's like, maybe you could talk to her and just, whatever. So yeah, I reached out to Sarah and just started talking to her about what was going on in my life and whatever. And we just started getting to know each other more and talking and everything. And just started when we developed feelings, and at the end of March, we officially became a couple. So that's kind of the short version from my point of view. I don't know. What do you want to add to that?
Let's see. Well, actually, the event was my first ever day of being a nomad.
Yeah.
And I ended up going to that event because of my wife, Sylvie. She loved watching Abby and Nat's YouTube channel, loved watching Nat cook, all of the vegan food, and loved just the videos. And she told me that they were having an event. I was living in Phoenix at the time, so it was just, I think, 2 hours from us. And I love Pride in general. And then, to combine that with van life Pride felt really cool and, an awesome way to start van life. And so I decided to go there, and I remember you were the one that greeted me and hopefully everybody when I arrived.
Yeah.
And you were so peppy. And I also remember around the campfire we were all dancing, and I remember thinking that she was a very good dancer, and it was cute how into it she was too, especially all the twerking. I also am a big fan of twerking, and to see her doing that much better than me was hot. So
You're a pretty good dancer, come on.
Thank you. But still, at that point, it was just friends. And I also, got to know Nat, and she's really cool, and we started developing a friendship. And I developed friendships with some other people there, too, and they invited me a few weeks later to Holtville Hot Springs.
Oh, yeah.
And I went there to go see, Michaela and Kelena, actually, and the rest of the group there, and then that's when we really started developing our friendship, and we went on bike rides and got to know, we're the early risers in that group too, and so we were, going to the hot springs earlier than pretty much everyone else, and just life chats, and over the course of that time period. And you when I first met you, you hadn't opened up your relationship yet.
Right.
And then by that point, you had just been starting talking about that, and so we talked about it a lot, and my experiences with it, and then March, I wrote her haiku asking her to be my girlfriend.
That was really cute.
Actually, today is exactly, the day this is being filmed, is actually our 8-month anniversary.
Congrats to us.
Congrats to us.
8 months later. Here we are. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's been, it's felt much longer than 8 months in a good way. So we've done a lot.
We've done a lot.
Also, I can't believe it's been 8 months already.
Yeah. Like, it's been such a short time, but also, like, such a long time.
Yeah. I love you, babe.
I love you. The next question is, in your marriages, did the concept of open relationship exist before or after you met? You want to start this one?
Sure. So for me, it existed before we met. I've been in different open relationships in my life, but my wife and I opened up our relationship a few years ago, and so yeah, it already existed before we met. And then obviously I'm a queer and polyamorous therapist, and so it's been a big part of my life for a little while now.
It didn't really exist for me. Natalie and I have been together 8 years. We've been married for 4, and we were monogamous for all up until this year. So, no, before we met, I was never really in an open relationship before that. Natalie actually casually dated multiple people at the same time, not technically polyamorous. I never really explored that. So it was all new to me this year.
Is Natalie exploring other relationships, or is that something that you wanted to do and she didn't?
That's a good question. Well, as I just said, Natalie actually approached me about opening the relationship, so she kind of initiated all of this. She is open to exploring other relationships. That is up to her to reveal if she wants to. Maybe when she feels ready to share her part of the story, she'll share it with you guys. Another question we got is, are you planning to stay married? Yes. And yes.
Yes,
I love my wife.
I love my wife too.
We love our wives. We love being married, to our wives, and we love our relationship together. We're gonna stay married.
Yeah. And it kind of makes me think about, some of the comments that you've gotten, and about it not being a real marriage and that kind of thing. So I don't know if you wanted to add something about that.
Yeah, it very much is a real marriage to me. Like, we got married, we committed we're committed to each other and to our relationship, and just because we've opened that up and we're exploring relationships with other people, that doesn't change our commitment to each other and to our marriage. That's important to us, and we respect that and we honor that. Yes, our marriage looks a little different, but does that make it any less real? No. Or does that make it any less of a commitment? You can be committed to multiple people at once. You really can. That's what polyamory is all about. My commitment to Natalie is very real, and our marriage is very real. And yeah, we want to stay married to each other. We want to be together. We very much love each other and love being married to each other. So, yeah. Do you have anything you want to add?
I mean, actually, from my experience in Sylvie and my marriage, before we even got married, when we started to talk about the concept of, do we want to take this next step in our relationship, we actually spoke about this of at that point we were monogamous, and we did talk though that we did want to take that next step, but for us it was really hard to imagine basically a lifetime of only being with each other, and we wanted to be able to eventually have that freedom to explore after lots and lots of conversations. So we agreed when we were deciding to get married that it was with the pretext that at some point we would talk more about opening up our relationship, which then we did maybe 6 months or a year after that, after we had a lot of conversations, read the books, listened to podcasts, learned more. And after diving into that, then we decided. And definitely commitment is definitely, it's a part of all of my relationships. And that's, I think, one of the beautiful things about polyamory for me is
feel even more loved because your partner is really choosing you every day. Your partners are choosing you to be with you every day,
and letting me be the fullest expression of myself, including in the relationships that I want to pursue. And I have been in monogamous relationships in the past too, and I'm not saying this about all monogamous relationships, because a lot of people are, this polyamory is not for everybody. It's just, it is for me. But I have been in monogamous relationships in my past in which, even talking to, someone that my, ex-partner would be jealous of, even just as a friend. That was not allowed. It felt very, like, taboo. You couldn't talk to your exes. There's just so much toxic monogamy culture. And again, there are really healthy ways to do that, to be in monogamous relationships, but there is also a lot of relationships don't have that. And so I think that one of the things I really value about polyamory is, the communication, the freedom, the options to love people romantically, sexually, but also as friends, and just like to allow relationships to form in whatever way is best for that. I'm really a big fan of designing my life how I want it to be, including designing those relationships. And so polyamory, all of my relationships aren't the same. My relationship with my wife Sylvie is very different from my relationship with, my girlfriend Abby, and I love that. And if I ever were to have future partners, like, that would also look very different because it's different people involved. And that's really what I love, is not trying to force something to fit into some box of what society says it's supposed to be, but instead what feels right for the people that are actually involved in this relationship, regardless of what other people think. And so for those that aren't a fan, cool, like, you don't have to be polyamorous. Yeah. But I would really hope that you would respect those of us who are, and maybe you can have a bit of more of an understanding of why we're choosing this and why it feels really right for us. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you there's so much love here. Abby's been here for me through some of, this has been the hardest year of my life, and having her for lots of good moments, but also the hard moments, which I know we'll talk about in a little bit, has been amazing. That's another reason why I love polyamory. So I could keep talking about this for a long time, but I'll stop for now. Should we go to the next question?
Okay.
Do your wives know each other? I'll let you take that.
Yeah. So they know each other virtually. Sylvie and Natalie have messaged each other a few times. Like, Natalie reached out and asked for a recipe. They've never met in person.
Not yet.
Yeah. But I'm sure they will at some point.
Well, I know they will.
So, yeah.
Wait and see.
Yeah.
And that kind of segues nicely into the next question, which is, do they get jealous that the two of you are together?
Jealousy is like a normal emotion to have, especially when doing something like polyamory. Neither one of us are very, like, jealous type people. We have dealt with those emotions when they arise, but that's one of the beautiful things about polyamory, is that it makes you even more communicative with your partner, and you talk about those kinds of things and you work through it, and you learn a lot more about yourself and about your partner and what they want and need and everything. So I would say there might have been a couple moments, but in general or in total, it's not really like a huge issue. No.
And so for me, I actually decided to ask Sylvie this question when I saw that it was submitted, because I wanted to hear what she had to say about it. And so she said that no, she does not get jealous, and in fact, she's really happy that she's the one that basically allowed the two of us to meet by telling me about the Van Life Pride event that they were going to be putting on. And also that she's really happy that since Sylvie and I are apart right now and have been for the last 5 months, and a lot of this year we've been apart physically, that I have someone else who, is so loving and kind, such a great partner, who cares about me, and we get to have so many beautiful moments together, but also through a lot of the hard moments that have happened, to have, someone who can really be here for me physically. So Sylvie is really happy for the two of us, and the two of you met actually when you came to Europe to visit.
There for 3 weeks.
And that went really awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I was a little bit nervous going into it because it was the first time that they were going to be meeting, and it went really smoothly. And all three of us, got along really well. I got to experience my peak joyful polyamorous moment, like walking with one hand with each partner, and I was just in my little love bubble with both my partners there, and it felt just really smooth. So,
and I got to have that similar experience when Natalie and Sarah and I were caravanning together, and we went to a pride together, and it was also like a really beautiful moment. Natalie and Sarah get along great.
She's awesome.
Yeah, I know. It's just, it feels really great, the four of us. I'm excited for when Natalie and Sylvie get to meet in person too, because I just feel like, I don't know, we all communicate well, and there's so much love, and everyone's just, really loving and like understanding, and I think it's very loving. love it.
I think they're gonna vibe pretty well once they do meet too.
Yeah.
They both got that chef thing going on,
Yeah.
and there's other things I could say, but I'll just wait until they meet.
Yeah. Switching the topic and going into this next chapter of life, y'all know we are headed to Mexico. And this next question is, what gave you guys the idea to go to Mexico? Is there something there that you're inspired to do? Why are we going to Mexico? What is the reason for this adventure?
Should I start that off?
I think you should.
Okay, so this is going to be a little bit of a more vulnerable part, a little bit of a hard thing to discuss, but so my wife Sylvie has a tumor. It's called aggressive angiomyxoma. It's a very rare tumor. The doctors in France told us that only 100 people in the world have had it, so and it's really big, and it's a scary one. And so we found that out late last year, and that's actually part of a reason. Originally, Sylvie and I were going to be doing van life together at some point, and it wasn't going to be right then, but because of the health stuff, and she's Italian and Algerian and comes with a French accent, I like to say. And so we had been, as soon as we got married a few years ago, we'd started the visa process and all of that for the visa.
The green card.
The green card.
Yeah.
All of that process. We started it, got lawyers, the whole thing, and then COVID hit, delayed everything. And so then when her health stuff came up, we hadn't even had the interview yet. This was years after applying for everything. And so basically, it would have been impossible to do health. It was like ridiculously expensive to address the health stuff here in the United States. It's just I can say a lot about all of the systems and how much they suck, but I'm gonna save that for another time. But so because of that, she ended up going back to Europe, and I decided to do van life to try and save money. So now I am the sole provider, and so providing for 2 households and 2 continents was going to be a lot. And so she ended up going to Europe and started the health stuff there. And then we found out exactly what it was a few months later, and that's when I decided I needed to go to Europe and be with her. So I went there and was with her for the 3 months that I was allowed.
Because of the whole legal situation with the green card and the visa and stuff, currently Sylvie is not allowed back in the United States.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
Big problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically it's going to be, we have to start the whole process over because she left during that process, which she had to. It's complicated, but so now we have to start the process again from outside the country, and the lawyers have said it's going to take probably like 3 years for that to happen. So until that time, she can't come back to the United States, unfortunately, unless we find some other miracle loophole. And so because of all of that, she's been doing holistic treatments because there's not a lot that the medical system can do at this point. And so I guess long story long, we were looking at where do we want to go next, given that I have the 2 dogs and a business over on the west coast of the United States. It would have been really hard to move everything over to Europe and much more expensive, and so we were looking at different options. Ultimately decided that Mexico was the right fit for us, and so once we realized that's where we were going to be going, I of course asked Abby if she'd be willing to join, because I would love to be with her too, and so maybe you want to take it up from there.
And I said yes. But yeah, I wanted to be there to help offer some love and support during this, difficult time. I want to add a quick note to say that there is a GoFundMe started to help with the costs of Sylvie's treatment and the relocation to Mexico and all of that. So if you feel called to donate, or you would just like some more information, there is a link in the description.
Part of that question was, is there anything you're inspired to do? I think it's exactly that.
Yeah, so we are inspired to create a healing oasis for Sylvie, so that,
And for us.
But for all of us to heal from everything.
Was Natalie invited to come?
Yes. So, yes, was Natalie invited to come along to Mexico? Definitely, yes. Not only was she invited to come, we tried so hard to convince her. We begged her to come, but she really, she wanted to stay and focus on her cookbook and pursue some other things. So.
But Nat, if you're listening to this, you're still welcome to come.
Yeah.
We'd be happy to have you.
Yeah. Natalie is welcome anytime. I mean, if anything changes, whether she wants to drive down, fly down, whatever, she is 100% welcome and invited. Someone wanted to know, are we planning to stay in one place in Mexico? Are we planning to travel around? What is the deal? So,
Short answer is mostly stay in one place, but we're still going to be having adventures, I would say.
Yes.
So we're headed to Puerto Escondido in Oaxaca, which is very, very far south into Mexico.
Sarah is taking 2 weeks off to make this trip because it is almost 3,000 miles from Phoenix, Arizona, where we're starting, to Puerto Escondido, Oaxaca. And we're planning to do that 3,000-mile drive in 2 weeks. So,
might be a little ambitious, but
wish us luck.
I think we can make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, we got this.
We got this. What do you think life will look like in Puerto Escondido? What do you think it's gonna look like? What do you think, babes?
I like to envision, like lots of like good, healthy food, lots of time spent out in nature, on the beaches and doing yoga and meditating and communing with each other and nature and maybe finding some good community there and, exploring other holistic health treatments, plant medicine, I don't know, all that kind of stuff. And some adventures too, like surfing and I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I think all of that. I'm definitely very excited to get more into surfing. I just learned how this year. And also we found a really cool gym down there that has pole dance classes. And I hope you all know this about Abby already. She's a pole dance instructor, and I'm very excited to not only see her on that pole, but also to learn more things from her.
Yeah.
And definitely build community. I'm really excited to build community of all types. Definitely, spiritual, holistic community, but queer community too is really important to me. And then of course I'm still going to be working, and you are too. Luckily everything I do is virtual, and so I'm planning to work and develop a better work-life balance, continue to build relationships with both my partners. I'm so lucky that I get to have both of them there. I'm very excited for that.
And I'm going to keep sharing our story. I'm going to take you guys along on what life is like in Puerto Escondido. So we have this, vision of it, but you're going to get to see how it all unfolds and what that looks like from the crazy 2-week drive down to how life unfolds there, and the adventures we'll have along the way and once we get there. And after that, we really don't know. How long are we going to be in Mexico? We can stay up till 6 months. So we plan on that. After that, I don't know. We might go to Central America. We have no idea, but we're kind of leaning into the unknown and just trusting the unknown and what waits for us there. And we're,
co-creating with the universe.
We're co-creating with the universe and manifesting abundance and love and healing. So that's the core of this journey.
Yeah, I'm excited. Excited to do this with you.
Yeah. Now that we've shared quite a bit more about ourselves, our story, what's going on, I'd love to hear a little something from you guys. I don't know, maybe share something unique about you, or maybe think about, maybe tell us something that brings you happiness, and then maybe go out sometime this week and experience that. I think that would be really cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
And also, leave a comment if you want to see Natalie make an appearance in Mexico.
Come on, Nat. I know you want to.
Come on. I miss her already, and I want us all to be together.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
I can.
Can y'all imagine that?
Can y'all imagine that? If you want to see that, leave a comment. I would love that. All right.
Here we go.
Here we go. Mexico, here we come.
Salud.
Be sure to tune in the weeks to come for the adventure. It pretty much starts now.
One more thing.
So somebody did ask if I'm still experiencing insomnia because of my post last week and, skipping a week, taking a week off for making a video. Yeah, I'm still experiencing insomnia, and it's been a month now, and I've slept a full night maybe twice in a month. Some nights I sleep 1 or 2 hours, sometimes I sleep maybe 4 hours. Sometimes I don't sleep at all. And it's making life a little bit difficult. I'm just really tired all the time. Somebody wanted to know, how are you coping? I'm a very resilient person, so I'm managing to do everything, even though I'm so exhausted. But I am, you know, making some allowances for my mental health, like taking a week off from making videos. So if this keeps happening, I will take more weeks off from making videos, so just bear with me. It might make a little bit more sense to do maybe one every other week until I get back to a regular sleeping pattern. So I appreciate you guys understanding that. I'm trying to get to the root of why I'm having this insomnia. It's not like I'm having like crazy racing thoughts. I get to a point where I feel like I'm about to fall asleep, but it just doesn't happen most of the time. So I'm getting rest at least, but it's very hard. Yeah, so just send some good vibes my way. And yeah, so.
Personally, I think that it's badass that you're, you know, putting your mental health first. Not everyone does that, and I think it's good for people to know that it's okay that we do that sometimes. And I think it's amazing that you're willing to do that. And so I'm glad you're taking care of yourself. And yeah, definitely send your good vibes. After sending good vibes, obviously, we're gonna get you some sleep.
Yeah.
She weirdo. I love it. I gotta type. It's weird. How about this look?
Okay. Let's see it.
Oh, my hair's so...
Oh, yeah, this one?
Really important question for y'all.
How would we look with mustaches?
And do you prefer blue or purple?
Very important question.
Leave your answer in the comments. Yeah, we're weird. We're weird. Queerdos. She's weird, but she's cute. Same. Yeah.
These videos are made possible through the support of our patrons. Join the Ride and Seek crew on Patreon today. Thank you, crew!